Welcome back to Join Our Town. My name is Terry Bates. I'm the pastor of Faith Church here in Oklahoma City. And today we're having an opportunity to visit with Pastor Deborah Burke of the Inner City Church here in Oklahoma City, and also Chase Parsons, who is the director, outreach relations director with the Oklahoma City Dream Center. And in our first segment, we talked about the unique marriage relationship of how God brought these two ministries together. And we want to pick up on that conversation a little bit more. But first, Pastor, I want to go back to you. I want to talk about, maybe you talked about how this transition came to be, that you were the pastor through the loss of your husband, where you were already ministering in the church anyway, yes, but you just continued on even in his absence. And you talked about some of the other dimensions, but I want to just check back with you one more time. Your kids, through this transition, obviously they have probably grown spiritually as well through the ministry.
They have. My oldest is now 18 and my youngest is 15 and a half, and my youngest one is on our worship team, and my oldest one left me. He was my drummer, but he left me about a year ago when they were starting a church in Newcastle, and he felt like God was leading him to go help his friend and old youth pastor start a church. So he's no longer going to Inner City, but he's loving the Lord and serving the Lord. So.
And your vision in this relationship, as you've been able to partner with the Oklahoma City Dream Center, and as you've defined it already in the previous segment, how that you guys are kind of focusing on those things that are outreach oriented, and you're taking care of things that are more in reach or discipling in nature. Real quickly before we transition back over to the Dream Center, can you think of maybe just an example of maybe a family or a child or someone that you've seen over these years make their journey through this inner city ministry?
Absolutely. We had a couple that were attending the church sporadically. They had 3 younger kids, and the kids would roam the neighborhood, and they happened to stumble along the wrestling practice. And they inquired on how the older boy could be wrestling, and so we got him connected there. They started mentoring. Both parents were meth addicts, and we were able to build relationships, which is a key on both sides, whether it's the church or the Dream Center, is to build relationships where there's trust there and they know we're genuine. And that through that relationship, before DHS could come in and take their kids because of the drug abuse, we were able to have a family that was in our church and in our programs to take the 3 kids while both parents went to separate a men's teen challenge and a women's teen challenge for a year-long program. They graduated a year ago, last December, and I was able to actually perform their marriage. We were able to, one of our families took them in for the Christmas season so they wouldn't be homeless. They would have a house, and God has just really restored that whole family. And it was through that marriage, because it was both sides of it, the Dream Center, the programs that started the relationships, and then the church being able to nurture that.
It's incredible. Now, Chase, let's go back also, because I know that you talked about how you guys became connected to each other, but you're also connected to the larger ministry that a lot of people may have heard about, which is the LA Dream Center and the Barnett family. So talk about how directly this relationship still is today with the Oklahoma City Dream Center and the LA Dream Center. We,
in the beginning, around 2010, 2011, was a lot of different dream centers were actually exploding and calling them and going, hey, can we be connected with you on an official level of some sort? And we were able to, with that divine Twitter direct message that he responded to, and we connected with them. They were just then starting talks about developing a different Dream Center network, which is the Dream Center, the DC network now. And they were actually going to start shutting down people, like all of these different calls, because they just couldn't keep up with it. And so it was pretty much of just a God thing that basically we were one of, if not the last one that actually got approved through their kind of old-fashioned process and were grandfathered in, and we're recognized as the official Oklahoma City Dream Center affiliate of the LA Dream Center, and then everything else is history. And so it was kind of really just being obedient and walking out, even though you didn't know how or when or what this was going to look like, and God's just been, directing it and pulling it together since day one. So
incredible.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of churches, they have a passion for their community. They want to try to meet the needs of that community. And every community has a different set of needs. But when a church working in the inner city obviously faces more significant challenges with maybe addiction problems and life controlling homeless situations. And so with the Dream Center maybe coming along and picking up those components, would you say that area of the homeless and the people with life controlling lifestyles is probably the core competency of the Dream Center?
It just was in the Daily Oklahoman on Tuesday. 73119 has the highest percentage of juveniles that go into state custody. It also is the top in Oklahoma City for residential 911 calls. That 73119 area code, which is right where we're at, and our zip code. And you know, the homelessness is very, very real. The poverty level is just it's tragic. How the circumstances that these people are living in and these families are having to live in. So the Dream Center is coming along, and we're helping, you know, like we said, to reach, rescue, and restore those that are isolated in poverty, because there really is an isolation that comes with poverty. They feel alone. They don't have the resources like a lot of people would to find jobs, to find out what government programs are out there for them. They're completely isolated from society, and that's where we want to build a bridge to help them connect. We have a community resource center that that is set up to where people can come in, and we will help with resumes. We'll help them apply online for jobs. We have a list of the government agencies that can help them get approved for housing if they're needing that. You know, so those are all areas to where, you know, we're wanting to give a hand up, not just a hand out. So, you know, through all of our programs that offers, you know, emergency relief, whether it be the food pantry or the clothing, we also want to break that cycle so they have a chance to come out of that isolation.
So give an example maybe for our viewers to think about the level of ministry impact and need that's in the area. Your food pantry runs on a weekly basis. What kind of volume do you see through the food pantry itself?
Well, actually, about not quite a year ago, we started having it on the fourth Saturday of the month, and that's a big Super Saturday, and that's our major distribution is what we call it. And it is set up almost like a grocery store. We have a personal shopper that goes with every client that comes in, and while they're walking the aisles to get what food they want or need, they're able to sit and talk to them, ask for prayer requests, just start building that relationship. Like I said, it's all about relationships. So that is the fourth Saturday of the month, and that is our big Adopt a Block. It's our big Super Saturday is what we call it. But then we have emergency relief that through the Community Resource Center, we have families, probably 5 to 6 families a day that come and need emergency relief. Last month at our major distribution, we gave out to, I believe, 131 families that came to the food pantry. It's
incredible. And you mentioned the Adopt a Block program. Chase, is that something that you coordinate for its relationship? And what does that look like when you're talking about adopting a block?
Adopt a Block is one of the most simplistic and also kind of the most complex. It ranges from, depending on if you've got 2 volunteers or 30, but currently we serve four different neighborhoods, whether that's in 2 different apartment complexes and 2 different neighborhoods that are just right in the backyard of the church and the Dream Center campus. And we are actually looking at starting to do in another complex, and then we just started with a Grace Senior Living Center, actually twice a month, going out and just visiting and hanging out with those senior citizens that, man, a lot of them were telling us how their kids never get to see them anymore. And so just playing bingo with them and letting them school us on bingo is a huge thing of just building relationships and just hope of having, you know, some sense of life outside of that everyday normalcy. But it's every single week, if it's not just the basics of going and visiting residents and checking on them and seeing what needs are out there and what's, you know, kind of like the heartbeat of the area and the need at the moment, and picking up trash while we're going along. But in our area, there's so much turnover that also it serves as a constant reminder and connecting people to some people, even though we've been doing Super Saturday and the food pantry and the clothing closet and all this assistance and helping people, some people that moved in just the other day have no idea about it, or some people that have lived for like 2 months there haven't heard about it yet. And so it's a constant presence and just basically going out and fishing for finding a need and filling it and connecting those people to the resources that we have and the programs we do.
We have just a couple of more minutes, so I want to fit this in, but you noted in particularly that the Christmas Adopt-A-Block Week is kind of a unique standout piece for you. Describe that for me.
Yes, it is a big Christmas party that we have once a year. It's a time where every child 15 and under comes and they can receive a gift. We have free pictures with Santa. We do a candy walk where by the time they're through with the candy walk, they have went through the whole Bible. And then we have games, food. It's just a big party. And when volunteers come to volunteer for that, what I tell them is, you don't have to say anything. I just want for when they look at you to see Christ in you. We're going to be Jesus with skin on today.
Right.
And I want them leaving here with a lot of candy, but a hunger for what they've seen in us, the love that they've seen in us. And it's one of my favorite days of the year. It's an incredible time. We gave out, this year it was one on the coldest day of the year. And I think we gave out close to 700, 600 gifts?
Yeah, it was around 600.
So to kids.
Incredible. We have just a minute left, and I know you want to just maybe quickly reference a website where people can volunteer, donate kinds of goods that you might have need of. So give us that website and tell us how they can do that in just a few minute that we have left here.
Okay. On our website at www.dcokc.org, we have under the donate button in the top of our website, there's the ways of giving items and giving your time as well as other ways. And so you can, under the give the items, there is a list of items that we will take. So you don't even have to ask us if we'll take this. We'll take these items every day of the year. And then also give your time. You can click on that and then go into our platform that lets you see all of the volunteer opportunities that we currently have open that we need someone to fill.
Awesome. Well, Pastor Deborah Burke, it's been great to visit with you today and hear more about the vision of the Inner City Church and also the Oklahoma City Dream Center and how the partnership that you guys are carrying forth here in the city. So thank you for your passion and your commitment. You've been watching Joy in Our Town. Again, my name is Terry Bates, pastor of Faith Church here in Oklahoma City. Thank you for watching today's broadcast, and we hope that you will continue being invested in prayer for our community.